Hey, good morning all, and thank you for joining us today. We'll start the session in a minute or two. Good morning, and thank you for your patience. Welcome to the webinar Securing the Future. It's Security Strategies for Media and Entertainment Industry, hosted by Cloud.in. I'm Suvarna Jadhav, working with Cloud.in as a Strategic Partnership and Alliance Manager. For today's session, we have Mr. Ashwini Giri as a speaker. He is working as a sales manager at Cloud.in. He is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in sales development and customer service. Edge security is a crucial component of an organization's overall cybersecurity strategy. This is an important topic considering the increasing reliance on digital platforms and the potential vulnerabilities in media and entertainment sector. In today's webinar, we will discuss what is age security, age in media and entertainment industry. We will discuss about some best practices based on the experience and expertise we have in security domain. Before starting the session, I would like to mention a few points. All attendees are muted by default and cannot be unmuted during the session. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. If in case you have any questions in between the session, please raise your hand to grab speaker's attention, or you can ask a questions through the question section. I request Ashwini to start the session. Over to you, Ashwini.
Thank you. Thank you, Suvarna, and good morning to you all. As Suvarna mentioned, my name is Ashwini, and I represent Cloud.in as a sales manager. Today, we are going to have this session about edge security. We also had another webinar last time. It was about edge as overall service and how edge helps the business. But today we wanted to keep it focused towards the security of Edge and why is it important and what can we do and what are the things that or the information that we can consider in order to safeguard ourselves, such as we're going to talk about that in the later in the presentation anyway. So I just wanted to kind of give the brief. So for some reason I was not able to share my screen, so Suvarna is helping me out with that. And Suvarna, just the first few slides of the introduction, I would like to keep that quick, and then once the agenda starts, we can take it slowly. So
Sure.
as you guys can see, great. So as you guys can see on the screen, this was about security at edge. This could have been a long topic for me, And like when I was just doing some research and trying to figure out what can we put, or what information can be important to be discussed in a webinar like this, I was really not sure what to keep and what not to keep. So, but I ended up making it as crisp as possible. So, and I also named it as Volume One. So, for because it's for media and entertainment, because security at edge could be for any industry whatsoever. But a brief introduction, like we are on this page here right now. So it says who we are. We are Cloud.in. We have more than 24 years of experience. We also have we are in a domain registration. We also have 40,000 plus domains managed, and one of the services that I would like to highlight in particularly in this session is 24/7 NOC support. We'll talk about that later, because in edge security, NOC support can be very important, or it can play a crucial role. So to the next slide, please, Suvarna. Right. So the progression and growth, we have 80 plus teams, we have 70 plus cloud certifications, we have three locations. I am in New Delhi. We also have locations in Mumbai, and our headquarter is in Pune, and we have 200 plus live workloads as well. And as far as the offering is concerned, what we offer is basically, Suvarna, to the next slide, please. Thank you. Um, so what we offer basically is about everything to deal with the with cloud, and we help the companies to kind of help them transform digitally. And so few essential services that we have in our portfolio is implementation and migration. We also have billing services, and we also have cloud consulting and advisory. We have managed services and application services as well. Primarily, our focus is towards the cost optimization, as well as keeping an eye on your cloud infrastructure overall, and leveraging AWS at its best. Now, having mentioned AWS, AWS themselves have recognized us as partners, and as an advanced consulting partner. And on to the next slide, we have our AWS achievements as well. So, Suvarna, if you could go to the next slide, please. All right. So we have been recognized by few competencies that we have a badge for. It's almost like a dozen of competencies that we have. Precisely, I would like to name about the cloud front delivery competency. We also have WAF delivery competency as well. I just wanted to highlight these two, although you can, read out all these competencies that we have. But these two were important for, especially for this session, as we are talking about edge and edge security, and more or less edge services overall. So without taking much time, let's move on to the next slide now. I have, uh, as far as the industries are concerned, we are not really, we haven't really narrowed it down towards just one specific industry, because our job is to kind of help the companies transform digitally, and that they can be from any sector. But precisely, if I talk about the majority of our customers, they come from media and entertainment, e-commerce, or IT. Someone who's trying to build something on AWS, we can help them manage their cloud. Public sectors as well. We also have a few clients on public sector, specifically for government, and of course educational as well. We have education, e-learning platforms. A lot of e-learning platforms are trusting us these days, and we being in the industry for over 2 decades, we definitely have gained trust from pharma and healthcare and financial services as well. Hospitality and startups are some of the categories of the businesses that trust us with our services. um, Now we so this was about the overview. Now coming to the actual agenda of today's webinar. Basically, again, like I said, that it Edge when I was looking into or when I was researching about what can we talk about in a webinar like this, I was really bombarded with a lot of information. I had a lot of things to talk about, and I could go long and for this. So what I try to do, I try to keep it short. We'll- in some of the things in the agenda that we will cover here, that will be what is edge security and edge in media and entertainment industry. And then I also wanted to kind of show some, throw some light on edge security versus traditional security. Like people get confused between cyber security, traditional cyber security versus edge security. So I just wanted to kind of throw some light on that as well. And what can we do to mitigate or have the best practices. And I also wanted to kind of write down emerging technologies. So I may have that somewhere in the slides. If not, I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, and then I'm going to take some questions if anyone has any questions. So, moving on to the next slide that we have here. Okay, so says what is edge security, right? So with a very simple um, image that I have put in here. It's basically a bridge. It's basically a bridge between the cloud and the Internet of Things. And well, Internet of Things is nothing but it's just the end device which uses the overall infrastructure. To make it faster, of course, we have edge in between so that it reaches the audience faster, it reaches the users faster. And hence, it also becomes important to secure that at the bridge. So, what it says basically, edge computing is a bridge or a medium between the cloud and the IoT devices. Hence, it plays a key role in data transmission, making the overall process much faster by bringing the resources closer to the user. And it also stores data in for a defined amount of time. You can define like how for 24 hours or 48 hours you want to keep the data in the edge or as cache memory. But again, that's a different topic altogether. But therefore, it also becomes kind of important because it's now dealing with the data, it's dealing with the cloud, it's dealing with the end device, the IoT devices as well. So the security threats or the leak can come from either side of it, or it can just destroy the whole system. So therefore it becomes really important. It also at the same time makes the system vulnerable for many attacks to take place. So that's why edge security is pretty important. Now let's just see why it is important, and what has happened in the industry so far. So let's move on to the next slide now. um, So the next slide, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of why where Edge stands in the media and entertainment. So I got this pretty picture here. It kind of the it shows, or it's an image, or it's kind of a globe, but then it's kind of becoming a whirlpool, and you see all the content. It's just kind of diving into that whirlpool and just disappearing. It's a powerful image which kind of shows that how much content is being consumed. And in the same report, I also read this line which says media and entertainment should hit $100 billion by 2030, which is in no time. So we're already in 2023. I mean, four just in a month. So in just next 6 years, you can imagine that's going up to $100 billion. That's again an assumption. But points proven that there is a lot of consumption happening of as far as the content is concerned. Hence it becomes very important for the media industry to not just deliver the content in the fastest way possible, but also uh, not be vulnerable when they're delivering, or when they're trying to deliver the content as fast as possible to make their consumers happy, because it's also a cutthroat competition now at the end of the day. Let's see what can be done, or what the benefits are for the edge first, and then I'll talk about what sort of security threats that media and entertainment industry can face. So, on to the next slide, please, Suvarna. Thank you. So, just a couple of few points I want to mention here about why would, if there is so much threat and there is so much vulnerability going on, why would someone use Edge? So, because like I said, the content is being consumed a lot, and consumers are very impatient, and they do want to consume anything and everything whenever they want, wherever they want. So that kind of becomes very difficult for the media houses to deliver their content without edge services. Like if a media house is sitting in the US and they're trying to deliver something in India, unless they have edge locations, I think it becomes next to impossible to have a real time content being consumed in a different geography. So edge is very important at the same time. So, the slide kind of mention a few points here. It says low latency and real-time processing, and bandwidth efficiency, and then it also data privacy and security. Um, and it gives offline capabilities in some instances as well. One industry could be automated cars, you can talk about. And then it also gives improved reliability and scalability. You can scale up with Edge as far as delivery is concerned. So not only in just one geography, you can deliver your content to any geography as long as you have edge locations nearby, or near locations. So that's just a brief of what sort of benefits do you get with Edge. But on to the next slide that we have here. Um, Specifically, I mean, it doesn't really limit to media and entertainment industry, but these are pretty common threats in the media and entertainment industry today. One is ransomware, and then data breaches, and then DDoS attack can also take place. Of course, you'll be denied to access the content. Data privacy violation is definitely there, and then in few instances, I'll just start by one. So in few instances, in ransomware, I was just reading, and again, this is just the resources. Media and entertainment industry would not like to share exactly what has happened when they were vulnerable, when their systems were vulnerable, but they with the help of the reports, I got some of the information that, as far as ransomware is concerned, Netflix, the giant OTT platform, they were being attacked. And so what happened was their content, or I think one of the series or episodes of that particular series was leaked, and they were asking for some money, and then they denied. Netflix has ended up denying that. So the attackers, they ended up releasing those episodes. So of course, all the hard work that Netflix has put in making that content come to life, uh, that has just gone in vain. So those kind of impacts cyber attacks or can make. Denial of services, again, it's an I would say it's an example of dissatisfied. It just creates dissatisfaction among the consumers. Like they're trying to access your services they paid for, or they have been loyal to, and at the end of the day, they are just being simply denied. In some instances, I've also read that there has been a violation of data privacy, such as you being a consumer, you putting all your details, including your financial details at time, such as card details for a subscription. Some of the attackers have been able to get into the system and able to steal that data. So again, that would totally destroy the trust of the user, the end user as well as the content media industry or the media company. That can be a financial loss and a lot of other things. Sorry. Okay. So again, this is again in it's just in generic form that these kind of attacks can take place. And into the next slide, I have just mentioned about the impacts, like what sort of impacts that a cyber crime can create. So there are mainly six. I mean, if anything goes out of these six, then it's somewhere is the subset of these six impacts. So more or less, it leads to all one of these uh, as far as attacks are concerned. So first one would definitely be financial losses. Financial loss, it can be huge in media, especially because it takes a lot of time and efforts and a lot of money for media companies to produce or launch any content. Reputational damage for sure. They can lose millions of subscribers in just one instance. Um, Operational disruption. So whatever they were ready to do next, if a cyber attack has taken place, and they would, everything will just be paused. um, Customer trust and loyalty, again, reputational damage and customer loyalty, I think that goes hand in hand. And then intellectual property theft. So let's say, again, if I talk about the content was made not only with by the hard work, but it was also made with a lot of thought being put into it. And someone who's very intelligent has created something like that, and at end of the day it got leaked. So that intelligence is, I think, it just goes in vain. um, and it's like a precious item to be leaked or to be stolen. And then legal and regulatory consequences can also follow. Although you may not have any you may not have any control over any of cyber attack, which if takes place at any time. And as a result, let's say one of your consumers was impacted, and they ended up filing a case on you because you were not careful with their details. So those kind of things can also take place. So um, like it kind of covers everything in the cyber crime. If any one instance can just ruin everything for the industry, for the consumer, and yeah, in so many ways. So what I did, I again, like I said, I wanted to find some case studies, and actually, I wanted to kind of talk about uh, what has happened, why it has happened, where the leak was, as far as the attacks are concerned. But then again, like I said, I was not able to find a lot of information over the internet because I think it's kind of confidential. They keep it confidential at many occasions. But I just got two names actually on the next slide. I got two names where the cyber attack took place, and it was, on to the next slide, please, Suvarna. Right. Um, so we have QB. QB is it's a German company. It's a media company, and Hulu. Most of you would have heard this name. So these were the two incidences where there were some unauthorized accesses were taken, and in the instance of Hulu, it led to changing the subscription type. So let's say for Netflix today in India, you can buy Netflix for 200 rupees, and then you can also buy it for 800 rupees or 799, something like that. So someone just gets into my account, and that they change that to 200, from 200 to an 800 rupee subscription, or the other way around. In both ways, if something like that happens to me, it will be worrisome for me that who's getting into my account and changing these things. That's one. Second, I will also be uh, uh, you know uh, uh, I if I'm trying to watch a content and it's not part of my plan, it's not part of my subscription, it will just frustrate me, and that will go towards Netflix, which probably has nothing to do with the attack that took place. The best they can do is safeguard themselves. So anyway, that was an example of Hulu, by the way. So in Hulu, that's what happened. They took unauthorized access, and in Quibi, similar thing has happened wherein all the data of the consumers were exposed, including their email address and other personal information which they might have entered while they were just bringing the subscription in. So there were other attacks as well. One of the attacks I talked about was Hotstar, Disney Plus, and that was Game of Thrones, one of the best shows ever was created. And in one of the seasons of Game of Thrones, the very first episode before the launch was leaked, and yeah, it was all over the internet. Although they took it down at later stage, but yeah, that was also one of the attacks which took place from Hotstar. Um, so these are the attacks, and these are the things that we try to prevent. We do our best, but as far as the technology is concerned, technology is like improving every day. Simultaneously, the ways to attack the technology is also improving. So we just have to keep ourselves aware of what is there and how the systems are working, and what can be done to be at the safest place possible. But then again, there are two types of securities that one can consider. Like, one is just traditional cyber security, and the other one is edge security. That's what I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So when I'm moving on to the next slide, please. Okay, great. Um, Now, edge security and traditional cyber security I have just mentioned like four different points in here. So as mentioned in the previous slides, I edge edge means that it deals with the IoT devices and the periphery of the overall infrastructure, wherein the traditional cybersecurity talks about the system network and the databases, the core part of the infrastructure basically. And again, edge security just deals with the edge environment, and uh, cyber traditional cybersecurity just deals with the network breaches, or something, maybe hardware related vulnerabilities, and attacks which are directly being targeted towards the centralized infrastructure. Versus in the edge security, somebody, or attackers try to get into the system via edge, which needs to be prevented, and so on and so forth. There are a couple of more points. I think I have covered most of it in the gist of it anyway. Um, Again, there are two different ways to kind of create the firewall, but since we are talking about the edge, I will take you through what kind of firewalls can be created and onto the next slides. But then just wanted to kind of give you an idea, you guys, of how edge security and cyber security are slightly different, yet they work towards the same agenda. um, Now, at the edge, one, I think there are a couple of security systems that you can um, go with, and the first one would be WAF, that is also known as Web Application Firewall, and the image in itself is pretty self-explanatory. You see a valid request coming in, it just lets it go. It lets it pass to the server. But if it's malicious, then it just stops it then and there. There are rules that you can define. There are some rules which are predefined rules that will be there. And if you want to add extra layers of rules, like maybe you want to protect your website or your platform from a different geography, or a specific geography for your own reasons, of course, then you can do that. You can assign that rule towards the on the WAF, and you'll be able to create those rules as well. On to the next slide, I have just mentioned the four important mitigation principles of WAF as well. Right. So there are four important mitigation principles. Basically, rule-based filtering that I just talked about, and regular rule updates and monitoring is also important. And integration with other AWS services. So if you are, like for example, AWS seamlessly, integrates with other AWS services such as CloudFront, API Gateway, and Load Balancer. And this integration allows for the implementation of WAF protection at the edge location or entry points of applications, providing a broader coverage and reducing the attack at the surface, of course. And then manage rules and customization as well. Um, it can also make a system vulnerable. So a constant update and constant keeping an eye would be very important for the mitigation, of course, and automate using AWS Lambda based security automation. So these are basically part of the same. It's basically keeping an eye on the overall WAF rules and how it is being implemented and the changes that you need to adapt to with time. Um, the second most important um, you know s- I would say security tool for the edge is Shield, which is mentioned on the next slide. Great. So AWS Shield is managed DDoS protection, and that's provided by AWS. And there is again different principle it employs for effective DDoS mitigation. So it detects, it mitigates, automates, and then scalability and elasticity as well. Um, so basically, first three is kind of goes without saying, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. But the fourth is kind of very unique and very it's a great tool to have. It's basically it automatically Shield automatically adapts to out of the box kind of attacks, and it adapts to that, and it protects the overall system, and just makes it stronger and stronger every time it faces an attack. So there are two types of Shield, AWS Shield. One is AWS Shield, and the other one is AWS Shield Advance. And they're just slight differences, but then like the name suggests, Shield Advance is more advanced, and it just um, there are more things that you get things such as CloudWatch, which kind of sends you the summary of the behavior of or the patterns of the overall platform, and the types of attacks or the what exactly has happened, so you can make your next move accordingly. That would be Shield actually, and or you can go for Shield Advance as well, like I said. So, yeah, basically, as far as the edge is concerned, edge security is concerned, these are the two most important tools to have. And then you can also have some best practices, and I have mentioned a lot of best practices in these slides. I don't want to go for all of these, but then of course some of it I just want to go over. So if we can go to the next slides, please. So
Should you on this slide only or the next slide? I'm on the
the
benefit
next
slide.
the next slide, please. Right. So again, I this slide and the next slide both are filled with the best practices, and it could have been even longer than this. But then there were a few very important points, like let's say uh, implement zero trust security. So basically you just need to assume that any device that is connected towards the infrastructure or that has any sort of contact, um, any sort of contact at all towards the infrastructure, it it did not need to be trusted, uh, unless you have the fair implementation of the security. So that's what it means basically. Implement zero trust security. Then edge to cloud encryption is very important while at rest or while in transit, whenever the data is being transferred. That's very important to take care of. You need to use WAF. That's something that if you're using Edge, if you're leveraging Edge services, then WAF is something that you have to have. Access control mechanism, role based and password protected should be there. Regular software updates should be there. Edge monitoring and analytics should be there as well, like what is exactly happening, like real time analytics, so that you can plan accordingly. Container security, multi-factor authentication, regular security audits and assessments, backup and disaster recovery plan, employee training and awareness, and compliance with industry standards are a few points in the next slide, actually. So these are also very important when it comes to employee training and awareness. For me personally, employee training and awareness is much important, which is on the next slide, actually, Suvarna. Um, and compliance with industry standards. So with it's like just uh, compliance with industry standard. I think I can give one example in product environment. Let's say you bought a medicine, let's say, but it has an expiration date. Like after one time, after a certain date, it wouldn't work. Similarly, when you comply with industry standards, what are the state of the art technologies which are capable of securing your system much better than the previous version of maybe the same technology. That could be one example of compliance with the industry standards. Um, and then there are also certified technologies as well. I don't want to get into that, but that's very important in terms of best practices and employee training. I think I take that the top two, but rest, of course, if one follows, nothing like it. Um, so I think this is pretty much it about the topic and the slides that I have mentioned. I also wanted to take you guys through about how the future looks like and the edge. I think I can just tell it in one line is basically taking the AI and ML into consideration way more than we could have ever imagined. I think most of the process is going to be automated very soon, and they are going to leverage AI and ML. Yeah, so that's how the future looks like as far as the edge is concerned. But I think that's pretty much it. On to the next slide. Got any questions? Do let me know, please.
Thanks, Ashwini. I'm just stopping my screen share just to check the questions.
Sure, sure.
There are any. The session is open for Q&A. If anyone is having any questions, please type in the question section, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you.
Okay, Soon, I think we have one question here. Okay, let me see. Okay, so one of the questions that I want to take here, it says, what specific security challenges does the media and entertainment industry face today? Um, yeah, like I said in the I have walked you guys through on the slides as well. Basically,
Ashwini, can you see the questions? Ashwini, are you able to see the questions in the question section? I guess there are no more questions, so we can conclude the session. Thanks, Ashwini. Thanks for such a wonderful session. I hope all our attendees have found it useful. Thank you all. Thanks for attending the session. Have a great day.